Okay, Mike Merlin means Merlin Public Media, talking shit with Merlin. Once again, live. Okay, and if you heard an echo, that's me testing the stream audio, and it seems to be just all right. So, with me tonight is
Andy Hogan.
What's up, Andy Hogan?
Oh, not a whole lot. As we just discussed, I'm all on my own this week.
Oh my God!
My wife is out of town, so any lovely ladies listening, feel free to try to contact me.
Wow, and he did that
I mean,
live.
I can talk. I can talk to you. It's okay.
Yeah, I guess.
And I've got a nice friendly puppy curled up at my feet here because he misses
Mom.
my wife.
Yeah, they're like that.
Yeah. So
new and exciting, man. What's new and exciting?
New and exciting. I don't know if there's much anything new and exciting. I'm in the midst of directing a play.
Do tell.
We have a few of the set pieces painted because on Friday we're going to be taking cast photos. So we're going to do them in front of part of what will be the actual set. So
well, that sounds like a good plan.
We won't be taking them against a fairly blank chalkboard with other dull background stuff in it. It's going to be a dull background, but it's still there. The play is 12 Angry Jurors. So the set is a jury room, which is kind of a government room, right? Pretty boring. But the play is fascinating to me. I think this is probably the best written play that I've directed. It's just wonderful. 100% drama, no funny stuff in it. But if anyone listening is familiar with the movie 12 Angry Men, that's the story adapted to the stage and written for a mixed cast, men and women. So it's pretty good. And typical of our community theater, we've got a lot more women than men.
Been a problem since the go.
Yeah. I mean, for some reason, it's just there's more women involved, and that's great. But boy, they're just at the point where they're very, very familiar with their parts. They're not off book completely yet, but we had a great rehearsal last night of the first two acts, and I'm very pleased with where it sits right now. They're really starting to come together.
So just like theater tech geek question: is that a practical blackboard?
What?
Is the blackboard practical? Can it be written on in real time?
Which blackboard?
You said there's a blackboard on the set.
No. I said we have taken cast photos up against a blackboard before.
Oh, okay.
But we're not doing that this time. Actually, no, there's nothing like that in this set. But I know that there's another play in rehearsal right now for the Children's Theater, Anne of Green Gables, and they have little handheld blackboards that the students are writing on, and those are actually practical writable blackboards, and they are actually writing stuff on.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's a nice element to have. And we did do a practical blackboard in A Christmas Story a few years ago, where we actually bought the blackboard paint and we painted part of the set.
I love that stuff.
With that, and the teacher was actually able to write on the blackboard she was teaching. It was very fun. So, and those pieces have been preserved, and I understand those might be in use on this show as well. That's pretty cool. Nice to reuse good stuff.
Well, that's one of the things about theater. If a prop doesn't weigh 45 pounds, it's new.
Yeah. Yeah, I will say that one of the nice things on the new the set that I'm working on, all of the pieces of the set are new. All of the flats that we're using
Oh my
are
God.
brand new. Even the door flats. They were all, well, I'd say they've been rebuilt, but actually they've been replaced. The old ones are gone. Which the only bad part of that is that there were a few flats that we have been preserving through the years because they had, like, two of them, for example, had an excellent kitchen scene.
Um,
painted on-
I know
painted
the
on
one
it.
you're talking about.
Yeah, and we used that several times, and we made the flats double-sided so we could turn them around and use the other side in other
Mhm.
shows and still have the kitchen scene preserved. And those went the same way as all of the other old flats did. They're all gone now. But on the plus side, we're going to have nice straight flats without nicks and cuts and bangs in them and stuff like that, and be able to put together a very good looking set again. And if we take care of them, they'll last a good long time. And I think they're better built. They're just the construction is better. So it's a good thing we finally bit the bullet
Mm.
and built brand new ones and started from scratch.
So are you screwing the flats together? Is that how they're done?
Up on stage,
No. As you assemble the flats
they are
themselves.
yeah, they are screwed and glued,
Mm-hmm.
and that was done with great care to make sure they were straight
Yes.
and actually had 90-degree corners in them. Some of the others
Mhm.
a little off of 90, and all the same height and stuff like that. So they should fit together very nice and neatly. Now, the first time we set up on stage, we're going to find out whether that's really true. And the stage platform we use is not itself 100% flat.
Mhm.
So there's still going to have to be some shimming and adjusting as we go.
Oh, of course.
It should look pretty darn good. And we are going to have top and bottom edge trim on the whole set that I'm putting together, so it'll look like a nice finished wall all the way
Yeah.
around. My hope is they will fit together well enough that you won't see the seams between them. Unless you're right up there on stage, we'll see them, but hopefully they'll be masked from the
So
audience.
no Dutchman strips,
Wouldn't that be nice, huh?
wouldn't it?
But we'll see. We'll see how that.
See, back when I was in college, we used clench nails, and I don't know anybody that even knows what they are anymore.
Punch nails.
Clench.
Oh, clench nails. Yes. I know what those are.
Yeah. Metal plate underneath the flat, pound them in, they're bent over. You ain't taking them out.
Yeah. And it's you ain't taking them out is that poses a problem once in a while. But yeah,
Frequently, yes.
I think if you Google them, you'll find sources, but if you go to the hardware stores around here, you won't find it.
No, that's a special order.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's interesting. These were actually put together. I should say, some of them, some pieces were screwed, but a lot were initially put in with air-driven brads or
Oh,
tacks.
okay.
And then when for strength and total stability, screws were used. But and we found the most wonderful thing. I didn't find these, but when they went out to buy all the lumber for this stuff, they found pre-primed 1x4 pieces. So basically, the 1x4 sides of the flats were already primed, already painted, and that itself was an aid in stability because we didn't have to worry about those warping and bending
Yeah,
at all. So that
that
was
had to take the budget up a little bit.
a little bit, but they weren't that much more expensive than the combination of unprimed wood and priming it.
Okay.
We still had to prime them because the other parts were not pre-primed, but just those parts already being there, nice, great, you know, it was a nice start to the construction. So, but
That was
anyway,
my least favorite part of production. Set building.
set building, yeah,
Yeah.
it's not fun. It's not glamorous.
No.
The people that do it, you know, they get an acknowledgement in the program, but they don't get up on stage. They don't get any applause.
No,
They don't
right.
get real recognition. So it's definitely an unglamorous part of the whole task. But there's a lot of one thing I keep telling people. There's a lot of unglamorous offstage jobs that go into doing a production that
Oh,
you need
yeah.
a lot of people for, you know, and you know, it's nice to we're starting to get people coming in and saying, hey, what can I do to help? And they'll, you know, they literally mean, you know, I'll do just about anything, you know. So they'll do some of those unglamorous jobs for us, which is really nice. I mean, just like having people sitting there, you know, selling tickets and taking tickets at the door, you know. It doesn't take any real skill to do it, but you got to have bodies there.
Well, sometimes making change is an issue. I mean,
the way we've had everything's priced, you know, change is not a big deal. And yeah, I mean, you have to make sure people aren't abusing that.
yeah.
But I don't think we've ever seen anything like that. So.
And you guys have pre-order online, and do you take credit cards at the door?
Yes to both.
Nice, man.
Tickets are available online now. There's a season ticket package that's available. And yes, we run credit cards or cash at the door, either one. So
tell us more. What's it cost to get into this?
This show is $15 for adults, $5 for students, and that's anyone over 5 years and still haven't graduated high school. If you graduated high school and you're going to college, you're still an adult.
Or you ought to be.
Yeah, as far as we're concerned. You want to be treated as an adult anyway, so you get to
pay for it. Yeah.
Yeah. So but those prices are being held. And the season tickets, I can't remember what the season ticket package costs, but basically the season ticket gets you one free show.
Okay.
For the year. So that's a good deal if you're going to be in the area for a while, or you know, you just rather make one purchase, and you know, if there's one show you're not going to be in town for, but you're willing to give that money up as a donation. Yeah, we love that. You know,
pass the ticket to a friend and you know, get another person down there to see the shows.
Yeah, once you have the season ticket, it doesn't matter who actually comes to the door and turns it in. You know, it's fine. We're fine with that. So around, help spread the word. So.
While we're in this general direction, where do we find more information? Where do we get tickets?
www.rcctp.org, and that's Rivers Cities Community Theater Players.
Mouthful.
The RCCTP. That's a little bit much for anybody to type into a search engine. So the website is just rcctp.org.com. And pops up. It's not a huge, fancy website. there's any, web people out there that would love to donate some time to to spice it up, that would be great. But
That'd be cool.
it's functional. I mean, you get there. The menus are simple. You pop up the menu that has the list of current shows, and you click on a show, you can go buy tickets for it. So
Nice.
it's very, very straightforward.
So you want to talk about your cast?
Cast?
Tell me who's in this, baby.
Who? Boy, I don't
Who?
know if I can even list them all off the top of my head.
Because there's a lot of them.
there's 12 jurors and a guard. And those are the ones that are seen on stage. And there's 2 voice-only parts that open the show. And those have been recorded. So if you want to include those, the judge's voice, which is the very first thing you hear on opening the play, is the judge's voice was provided by Virginia Cruz, who has been a very long supporting member of our group, and is actually a practicing criminal attorney. So she was quite excited to be able to do the judge's part for this.
Step up to the top there and look down. Yeah,
Yes.
That's cool.
But she's also very, very familiar with courtrooms and rules and regulations and stuff. So she's given me some advice on things that can and cannot be done. So she recorded that. Our good friend Brian Burns, who I think you had on this bit not long ago.
Not long ago, right?
He recorded the guard's recorded line, which is there is a live guard in the play. He's the 13th character that's on the stage. So it's actually, I don't know if it's guard or bailiff or what the name is. That it's just a one line that says the jury will retire. And at that point, the jury walks on the stage. So let's see, jurors are, and the names of the jurors are all juror 2, juror 3, jury 4.
Yes, of course.
No actual names. The only one that's not referred to by a juror number is juror number 1, who is the 4-person.
Okay.
Yeah. Today they're called 4-person. This is set in the early 1960s, so it's still 4-man in this show, even though it's being played by a woman. So the other characters actually refer to the 4-person as Madam Foreman.
Okay.
Which is the way it was written. It's the way the script is written, and it's also the actually, I did some research, and that's actually the way a female foreman was addressed in jurors for quite a while. Now it's 4-person. So the Madam Foreman is Nicole Caputo.
Okay.
Who's been with us for quite a while.
Oh yeah.
Juror number 2 is Wendy Wilson, who has only done, I think, one other onstage role for us. She's been supportive of us. Juror number 3 is Becca Gaston, who joined us a few years ago and has done a number of very, very good parts in comedies. Juror 4 is Heidi Fertig. Again, a fairly new member, but she's been with us for a couple of years now. Juror 5 is brand new with us, is Christian Berger, a younger gentleman. Number 6 is Jeff Wilson, who happens to be married to Wendy. Jeff has been with us from the very beginning of this group. He's been involved in everything. 7 is Loretta Lawrence, who again is reasonably new, but she's been with us through several shows, and she's been in this area for a very long time. Let's see, 8 is Mike Ronk, who has done, again, he's been with us for several years now, and he's had several lead parts in roles. I directed him most recently in On Golden Pond. It's the crotchety old ex-professor in On Golden Pond. Let's see, keep going around the table here. Number 9 is Nancy Long, who is another long standing veteran with us. Has been with us almost, I think, from the beginning. She was in the very first show we ever did, years and years ago. 10 is Doreen Hansen, who has been with us for a very long time.
Oh, yeah.
Not going back to that very first production, but she's been with us for a long time and has done a great many things with us. 11 is Russell Walkner, who again is, in the fairly new with this range, but has had a number of roles with us, pretty accomplished. And the last is a new woman, and I'm going to embarrass myself here because I can only remember her first name is Barbara.
Okay.
I'd have to look up the last name. She's that new with us. She's only, this is the first time she's performed with us, so I can't even catch that. So there's that, and our guard, and I'm going to have to look that name up as well because I keep getting it confused with another person, and I don't want to do that. So excuse me. So anyway, that's the cast. The guard actually only just comes on and goes off, and not a terribly active player in the show, but not one we can get along without either, obviously. So, nuts. I don't have a good reference here that I can just look up. I'll get you the name though. But the guard is also brand new. The fun part with the guard is that he's actually an officer of the law in California.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And he has actually served as a bailiff in court. So he also is familiar with do's and don'ts in courts, and things you can and cannot get away with. So that's an interesting perspective as well.
Okay, so Nicole's on stage. Who's on sound?
I can't tell you right now.
Oh, okay.
My
I didn't ask.
My entire backstage crew is in flux right now, so I don't know who's going to wind up doing exactly what.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still short at least one person, and I'd like to say I'm short 2. So
Okay.
one of the fun offstage challenges or backstage challenges in this show. This show is presented in 3 acts, and the curtain closes between each act, and then we get a 10-minute intermission, and we come back and start the next act. But everyone has to be right back in exactly the places they were in at the close of the curtain when the curtain opens. The time of the show is continuous, even when the curtain closes. It reopens 10 minutes later, and no time has passed. Everyone's in the same place, and everything picks up right there.
That's tough to pull off sometimes.
And we do that twice. So that's where I'm missing at least one person. I need to have at least one more person ready when the curtain closes to run out onto the stage and take pictures of exactly where everyone is.
Okay.
And possibly mark where their toes are on the stage. So they get back in exactly the same positions to open the curtain up again, or exactly enough that it will look like they never moved. And since we have a working clock on the set, someone has to take a picture of the clock as soon as they come on stage, and then go over before the curtain opens and set it back so that it's at the same time that it was when the curtain closed.
Attention to detail.
Attention to detail. Continuity.
Yes.
And this is the first time this theater company we've done something exactly like that, where we've had no time has elapsed from this scene to this scene, or
Mhm.
this act to this act, and you have to restage everything exactly as it was. Fortunately, we don't have, any like flying props, that nobody's throwing anything at someone else across the stage
Yeah.
or anything like that. So we don't have to clean up any mess like that or reset that or, have those kind of issues. But there are at the end of every act, there's somebody moving around doing something. It's not just everybody sitting in the chairs for this entire show chatting at each other. There's motion going around, and so we have to, wherever that wound up on that one, when curtain closed, that's where you got to hold it.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's a bit of a challenge.
Got to come back that way and hold it for a beat, and then go on with the show.
Right.
Yeah. Something new.
Well, expand, stretch your boundaries, do something a little harder,
Yeah, and that's something that the whole cast is really responding well to. I mean, we've done mostly comedies. The only other 100% pure drama we've done in this group was Waiting for MacArthur, and that was 8 years ago. And we've done some dramedies, which are like On Golden Pond or Steel Magnolias, which are mainly dramatic or largely dramatic, but which have a lot of comedy written into them as well. A lot of laugh lines, even though the story is fairly dramatic. This one is, but we have a lot of people in this cast auditioned for this because I want to do a good hard drama. I want to stretch myself. Okay, I've done comedy. I like comedy. Comedy's fun, but I want to do something more dramatic, and they're really responding to that challenge. And it is a challenge. It's a very different form. I mean, that's why you hear about Hollywood people, and they're categorized as dramatic or comedic actors, and it's only the real stars that can move from one style to the other and get it right in both cases. So because it's a different thing, but they are responding pretty well to it.
That's great.
So, yeah.
I am hoping to get out to see it. Depending on how things progress, I may just well be able to.
I hope you can.
When are the dates again?
October 12th and 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th. Yeah, those are the show dates. So October 12th and 13th are Thursday and Friday evening shows. And the 14th and 13th and 14th and 15th are matinee shows at 2 p.m. 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So all at what is now Optimum.
Yes.
Community Center, was Suddenlink Community Center. Change of ownership of the cable company makes it Optimum now. Although the building right now still says Suddenlink on the front of it. I think they're in the throes of changing that, but the name, the street of the street, which long ago was 3rd Street.
Right.
It was renamed Suddenlink Way and now has been changed to Optimum Way, and that street sign has been changed, and
I was going to ask about that.
Yeah, that's been changed, and but the building still says Suddenlink on it, but it is Optimum Community Center now. So
don't get confused when you see Suddenlink. You are in the right place.
Yes. Yeah.
No, I can't find it. It's not here. Where is it?
Yeah, we'll probably try to have a poster or two up too. So
probably.
Yeah.
Oh, see, stop that.
What, do you having problems too?
A little bit. It'll pass. It'll pass. This is my 2nd or 3rd live stream, and there's still a couple of issues in here. at least this time I remembered to hit record so that I can pretty it up and put it on the YouTube page.
Yeah.
The last time, in fact, I don't know, I was 5 minutes in when I was talking to Brian. I'm like, well, shit, I
Yeah.
forgot to hit record. And he looks at me and look, now we're going on, man. We don't stop. That's the thing about,
Yeah.
unless you break the 3 rules, this show doesn't stop.
Yeah.
Do you know what they are?
No, and don't tell me. If I break them, you can let me know.
If I shut off the stream, you broke one.
Oh, okay. Okay.
No, real simple. No religion, no politics. And talking shit ain't shit talking.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have no libel, slander stuff on here. But other than that, whatever.
You realize how much you're cutting out with no politics right now, don't you? I mean,
I do. But again, with that, I don't want to start wars.
no. This is not a show for doing that.
No, this is fun. Have a good time, shoot the shit, whatever. And religion the same way. You'll start wars because no two people, even amongst the same religion, see it the same, and you start all this
Oh yeah.
squabbling and crap. And no, the easiest way to do it is just don't do it.
But Mike, it's so much fun to see 2 people arguing about who is kinder to their neighbor because of their religious beliefs.
Yeah.
Wait, what? But yes, no, I no, have no fear. I don't think I will be violating any of those rules.
No, I didn't see it as back before we started going live. There were a few people. I'm like, okay, look, these are the rules, and they're like, I ain't got nothing to talk about.
You had to do some editing though.
I've never edited a show ever.
Oh, okay.
No, even when it was just audio, it goes in, it comes out, we're done.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
I've had 34 minutes. I've had, I think the longest was 1 hour and 47 minutes. And that was just fun. That was my buddy Sam, just outside of DC, and he is he's a DJ. He is probably one of the most well-read people I've met in my life. He's just a hell of a guy. And I mean, I can't even do a phone call with him for less than an hour. Just, hey, how you doing? And there you go. And I'm not complaining, Sam. Really, I'm not.
I've met people like that. Yes.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's just getting directions to the store is a 15-minute process. Yeah.
Fucking lungs.
That's fine. How does you talk to somebody who lives just outside of DC for 1 hour and 47 minutes and not get into politics? Never
mind. Music, movies, books.
Okay, that's
He's
fine.
introduced me to some epic music, and I introduced him, oh God, way back when I lived in Ohio, to the Illuminati trilogy.
Oh.
And Robert Wilson, and I don't remember the other Robert, but the 2 Roberts. But those are some whacked out books, and there's a lot of extraordinary philosophy in the storyline.
Mm-hmm.
So those are fun.
Yeah. Speaking of trilogies and that ilk of entertainment, I told you some time ago that we were gonna cut the cord. We've finally done that.
Oh, good.
We got rid of DirecTV and we're streaming now. And my first triumph was finding Babylon 5 and
Tubi.
finding the whole thing.
Yep.
Watching the whole thing, start to end. It was very nice. There were very few episodes that it's been so long since I've seen any of it that there were very few that said, oh yeah, I remember exactly how this one goes. There was always something, some element that I hadn't missed, I hadn't remembered and stuff. the one that surprised me most was one where I suddenly started looking at this pair of characters that they were only characters in the one episode, and I'm going, that's Penn and Teller. What are they doing on there? And there's the same shtick where Penn did all talking and Teller just nodded and did hand motions and things like that. But it was great. It was a great episode towards the end of the whole series, but it was a good one.
One of my favorite Babylon 5 jokes is, so you're a real fan? Name 5 characters. Okay. Zathras, 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 and Zathras.
Zathras. Yeah, that was funny, but that was great. So now I've finished that. I've moved on a little. I found a channel I've got a channel that's back to back Doctor Who, going all the way back to the very first black and white ones.
Oh wow, you're gonna have to. What is that one?
I can't remember. I think it's on. I think it's one of the Freevee channels. I have to. I'll look it up.
Send me a link later. Yeah.
Yeah. There's another one on that same list that's back to back Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Ooh.
Are you familiar with that?
Oh yes.
When I was living in the Minneapolis area, we were there when that first started the show, and it was just an absolute insane hit in the area. And also I actually started watching did watch the whole first season of V.
Oh yeah. Which version?
The one with what's her name? Baccarin as the queen.
Okay.
So anyway, so I watched the first season of that, and then I broke away and found I did a little bit of an Andromeda.
Oh yes.
I'll probably go back to that again. But I'm currently wading my way through season 1 of Stargate SG-1, and we'll probably follow that through. It's been a long time since I've seen
I just started going through that maybe 2 weeks ago.
Did you?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So it's for me, that's great. Judy is a little unhappy with the whole thing because, and I have some drawbacks on it too. I mean, they go on and they say, look, we carry, all these channels, but you go on them and they're all old shows, so, and honestly, I mean, there are things I don't care to ever rewatch, but what she's most upset about is all of the over-the-air shows and current cable productions and stuff like that. You cannot see in real time.
Not in real time, no.
And so she's having to make this terrible adjustment, particularly on her beloved soap operas.
Oh.
Of not watching them the day, that they're
the day, the moment, the instant they're there. Yes.
Which means if she pays any attention to Facebook and other, online sources at all, she's very likely to have, get hit with spoilers.
Oh yeah.
And she's unhappy about that. So we're trying to get at least each of the major networks over the air as well.
Okay.
And so far we haven't been completely successful in doing that.
It's tough here. It is.
Yeah. So, but I think she'll make the transition. I've told her, I said, look at what is on there. I mean, I know there's shows on there that, you got this channel, you can just go in and you can start at episode 1 and watch all of it, And I know it's shows you like, but she has this thing about, she really wants to be right on top of what's going on in the serial type of shows. So.
I had a little transition with that, but it wasn't that bad. You know what I just watched yesterday?
What?
The original unaired pilot for Lost in Space.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Well, I saw that years ago, and yeah,
It's been a while, you know, and
yeah,
it was pushing semi-serious science fiction for its
yes,
day.
yeah, Forest Day, yeah,
Yeah. And you didn't have Dr. Smith.
right.
And then when you go and watch the actual aired pilot, there's big chunks of that used in it. I mean, you know, but yeah, I'm finding all kinds of gems. I'm still looking for the original, like 1960s black and white Astro Boy.
Oh, wow. What? But if you find it, let me know about it, because Judy would love to see that too.
That was, you know, looking back on that, and I mean, the music, electronica, very beginning. I mean, science fiction, anime, very beginning. I mean, that was, yeah, I loved that show. I really,
Yeah,
really did.
it's very interesting to watch the old good science fiction shows like Twilight Zone. I mean,
Mhm.
you know, I've gone back and watched. You know, I watched just last week. I watched episodes 1 and 2 of the Twilight Zone, and I'm going, you know, man, even at that time, and you know, the first ones out of the box, a Serling really knew what he was doing,
Mhm.
and B, I mean, it was just such a different show for television at that time.
Oh yeah.
Just remarkably different television, and just seeing what they did in a lot of those older shows. I mean, everybody who's a Doctor Who fan at all laughs about, you know, the rubbery costumes for the
Sure.
creatures and all of that stuff. But it's actually part of the charm of watching this
Uh-huh.
versus the more modern versions where all of the characters and all the aliens are very sharp looking, and you know, modern makeup styles and stuff like that. And it's almost like, you know, I actually prefer the old, you know, rubber suited, you know,
The
going
rating, I
back,
think,
you
was
know,
exceptional.
yeah.
And
So
some of the sets, I mean, there's no CGI or green screen here. They
no, no,
built that shit.
yeah,
I mean,
now,
Doctor Who and the Mayan temple, they built that shit.
yeah, yes, yeah. Some of the, you know, some of it was extraordinarily well produced,
Yeah.
and there's still, you know, the drawbacks, and you see it in all of the older sci-fi. You know, it wasn't until the even the first generation of Star Trek suffered from the toy ship being, you know,
Yeah.
zoomed
Yeah.
through space and stuff like that. I mean, there's a couple shots of the TARDIS, you know, spinning in space, and you know, you almost want to say I can see the wire, but you can't. It's well hidden, but you absolutely know that's a little toy being spun
Oh
on a
yeah.
wire. You know, but it's you know, you see some of those, and some of the really horrible old ones. I watched an old horrible sci-fi flick a week ago, that, and it was like, oh my god, you know, just okay, stop even trying to do the space shots, and just put us on the crappy set, and go have fun with it, you know.
Well,
But
and that was the whole reason for the transporter.
yes, yeah, they couldn't
It,
they couldn't do anything realistic any other way,
yeah, all
and it
that,
was
you know,
expensive.
takeoff and landing, and it just like would have killed the budget.
Yeah,
You know, sprinkle some shiny powder down and crossfade, and you're good.
yeah, yeah. They're still having trouble with that in sci-fi movies. You know, so the last one, the only one I've seen that I thought really handled it well was I have trouble with names of things. The Arrival. You remember
Don't know
that?
it.
Um, Beautiful show that starred Amy Adams and Jeremy Renner. in the two lead roles, and these these alien beings showed up all around the world. I think in this one they had like 19 locations where this sort of egg-shaped craft, although it was flat on one side, just suddenly appeared and took up location. The one in the United States was located out in Montana, out in the middle of nowhere, Montana. So no particular logic that anybody could figure to where they landed or anything like. One was in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, you know. But it was first. It was the story was focused very much on just trying to establish communication with them. But the ships, what I liked about the ships was they didn't really show them appearing, but when they left, they just kind of rose up into the sky. They never actually touched down. They were always like 50 meters or so above the ground. But they just rose up high in the sky and turned on their side, and clouds started to billow up all around them, and they just disappeared. And no mention at all, no explanation at all what kind of technology was behind that. Just
Right.
one of the mysteries of dealing with these people, that we never, we just realized, you realize as you went through the show that their technology was so far beyond theirs. It didn't matter. But I see now, right now, there's like two fighting concepts in it, and one is kind of the Star Trek point of view that the big ship can't land.
Right.
It's only small transports that land, or the point of view that the big ship can come down into the atmosphere, but when it does, it creates this enormous heat wave and huge billowing clouds, and you get it glowing bright red as it comes to a stop because it's gone through the atmosphere at such a screaming speed. And both of those are our limits. They're what we can do.
Yeah.
But we can only bring a spacecraft back down into the atmosphere and back down to the planet by burning off a huge ablative shield, and
yeah,
using that to slow it down to the point where we can control it from there on. But you look at what Elon Musk has done with reusable first stage rocket engines and stuff like that. I mean, it's amazing the accomplishment that he's had there to be able to safely land and reuse a rocket stage.
Yeah, that's been a dream for decades.
Yeah, NASA never even considered it.
They didn't think it was doable.
Neither NASA nor the Soviet program or the European program. Nobody else has ever even considered doing that. He said, "Hey, this is the only way to make it, manageable from a money point of view. We got to do this." So we went and did it. But yeah, it's stunning. But we just have to make so many moves forward before any of this stuff becomes realistic. So,
well,
and then the other
energy is the biggest hurdle.
Oh yeah, yeah. We really have to find. We have to learn more about physics.
Mm-hmm.
At the moment, I'm kind of in the place where there's one or two truths that we're going to have to learn to live with. One is space is vast and huge, and we are actually limited by the speed of light, and so we're never going to get there. Not as live people traveling, unless you think we can build a generational ship.
Exactly what I was going to say next. Generational ships, yes.
Send a crew out there fully in the knowledge that it's going to take 8 generations to reach the closest star, and that one might not have any habitable planets around it. So that's one possibility. And the other possibility is that there's ways to do it, whether it's a true warp drive, or actually learning to fold space, or create an Einstein-Rosen bridge, and just skip around this pesky, man, it's trillions of miles between planets problem.
Yeah.
And
It's
we don't
just
know how to, we have no real way to do that right now. Nobody's even,
no, the distance are literally at unimaginable.
yes.
There's nothing we can make it even marginally relative to.
Yeah. Well, I have a book sitting up there on the shelf. I have a book. It was published as part of a very long series by Scientific American, and it's called Powers of 10, and it takes you from extraordinarily microscopic things, like I think it starts with 10 to the minus 18th power, and goes all the way up to 10 to the plus 18th or something like that. It's symmetrical like that. But and so it takes you from our existence, which is 10 to the 0th power, just live distances and stuff like that, all the way down to the extraordinarily subatomic, and all the way up to the galactic and universal size steps. And it's incredible looking at it, but you get to either end of those and literally the imagination fails.
Mhm.
I mean, it's hard enough to recognize things like uh, micrometers, and which is 10 to the minus, correct me if I'm wrong, 10 to the minus 6.
I think
And
could be wrong.
And you go from there to,
Oh well, look at that shit. Keep talking.
hey, Merlin disappeared again.
Yeah, it's magic, man. It's magic.
10 to the minus 12. Okay, I can get my head around numbers like that, but they're incredibly tiny. But you go up on the large side of the scale, and you get past, okay, like the size of Jupiter compared to Earth, the breadth of the solar system and how huge that is, and you start going out from there, and you start talking about 18, 40, 50 light years. That's incredible distances to try to think about. It really is, and you wonder that people ever really get used to thinking about that. So, oh, sorry, buddy, I disturbed my dog. Oh, you're back.
Well, this camera is really good, but the batteries only last about 45, 48 minutes, sometimes a little better. And I don't quite have the USB power connect to make it constant power. So I usually end up doing this about once a show now. But
well, it's very dramatic, just sitting here and all of a sudden you just blinked out.
Well, Merlin, I mean, come on. I got to earn my name.
Yeah, okay, you're fine. So I'll try not to blink out and ruin your, steal your show from.
Go right ahead, give it a go. Okay, let's get back to cord cutting for a couple minutes, because what are your go-to channels?
Oh, right now, the individual channels, I haven't really picked one. I'm on Freevee quite a bit. Philo.
Freevee's good.
Philo's the only paid streaming service that we have right now, and it's definitely a budget one, because the whole point of this was to bring our budget down a little bit.
Right.
It's pretty good. That's one of the ones where Judy was saying, guys, you look at the list of channels they think they have, they say they have, and they're huge, and they're all a lot of channels I watch, but none of them are live. I said, they're selling their live stuff with advertising. You can't, they can't get the advertising revenue from streaming that they get from over the air or
Right.
Cable, whatever. And so, yeah, they're not giving that stuff away.
Well, all the big ones are now doing like a less expensive includes ads version.
Yes, yeah, and a lot of what I'm watching are with ads. They all are,
Mm-hmm.
but the ads are shorter. They're not 5 to 8 minute ad breaks.
Yeah.
Uh, they are unfortunately horribly repetitive.
Yes. Oh God, yes. Oh.
But that actually makes them easier to ignore.
Uh-huh.
And if you get used to the rhythm of them, you know how long you can take a break away and come back and not miss anything you want to be watching. So I've never felt bad about ads at all.
No.
I do admit that one of the things I liked about DirecTV was that if you recorded stuff, even if you were capable of watching something live, it was actually more fun to record it and then zip through the commercials.
Ah, okay.
And the DirecTV function had a thing like there's a key on the DirecTV remote that lets you skip 30 seconds. So depending on what you were watching, it was either 6 or 8 hits, and you'd skip all the commercials and go right back into the program.
Ooh.
So you learn to skip commercials quite nicely that way. So
Yeah, we do one paid channel at a time.
yeah.
Right now we are on BritBox, which is exactly what it sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got some very good shows. There's a show called The Murdoch Mysteries.
Yeah, I've heard of that one.
And it has it up to this year.
Okay.
So I'm on season 15 of 16. There's a couple shows on there. Then we're gonna dump that. We're gonna pick up Netflix and catch the second season of Warrior Nun, catch up on The Blacklist and a few others that we like, and bop around.
Yeah, there are some that Judy's not totally disappointed with it. She's gleefully going through The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel right now, which she saw some of the first episodes of when it was offered live as a teaser.
Okay.
And then went to subscription. I think that was Netflix or one of the ones that was producing a lot of shows themselves early on. And so she's gleefully watching all of those and catching up. And she understands that when she runs out of what's free on there, she's going to have to wait 6 months or a year before it's offered on the streaming again.
Mm-hmm.
But she's okay with that because she never was current with that show.
Okay.
After those introductory episodes, she got it episodically. Every once in a while, they'd offer an episode again to try to bring people back into it. But we never had a subscription to it, so she's okay with watching it that way. I'm telling you, get used to watching everything that way.
Well, and I want on demand. I do.
Yeah.
I want to sit down and start it when I want to sit down and start it.
Right. I'm very happy being unplugged from somebody else's programming schedule. I'm super happy with that. And all of these shows that I've mentioned that I've been streaming, I never watched all of them. One of the reasons I wanted to go back and see the whole Babylon series is I saw virtually none of the first series, the first year.
Mm-hmm.
I started it partway through the second year, and so that all that very early stuff, which was largely developing the characters,
right,
and getting, like every other series, it starts a little rocky, but filling all that in was a joy for me, and then seeing how things that happened in the first couple of years affected year 5.
Oh yeah, the writing is tight, man. It's super tight.
That was so beautiful, So, but you got Here's another thing that most science fiction shows have missed. They haven't had contributing editors like Harlan Ellison.
Yes. No shit, huh? Yeah, right there.
Things like that. But I mean, that's one thing that made that series very good. But also just that they had a one solid continuing idea of how you skip through space and got around those tremendous distances. And they executed that idea pretty well. And but the idea of the much older races,
Yeah.
is still kind of in the background controlling everything.
Well, they got them to Stargate too, so.
Yeah, exactly the same principle in Stargate, and you're running into it in Star Trek periodically. Everybody says one of the best episodes in Star Trek is the one where they find the time gateway.
Oh yeah.
Left behind by an ancient civilization. And it's a wonderful show. It's beautifully written, it's beautifully done. It's a real example of how you can screw things up with time travel. And actually, I enjoyed inside the Star Trek realm, the ones that deal with time travel and time disruption and stuff are some of the ones I enjoyed the most. Everybody slams Voyager, but there was a two-part Voyager show that dealt exclusively with that, where this one guy was intent on recreating his view of.
Oh, now I remember it. I was looking for it. I couldn't find it in there.
Yeah, he was intent on viewing his, returning his planet, his planet's, I don't know, empire or group of planets that they ruled on, to what they were before they lost this incredible war. And one of the best treatments of time travel and time disruption that I've seen on any. I mean, that's a wonderful show. So, but when they do that well,
yeah, when it's done well,
they all deserve credit on it. And Babylon toyed with that as well.
A little bit, yeah.
Was it Babylon 4 or one of the previous Babylon stations that disappeared into time
and comes back?
Yeah, unless you made.
I believe that was Babylon 4.
I believe
you were right.
Yeah. So it's very interesting. I love it when people play with time properly.
Yes, properly.
Yes, yeah.
Always a big deal there.
Which, of course, I think I mentioned to you once before that they now have people like Neil deGrasse Tyson and others saying there is no time.
Yeah.
Time is a construct of the human mind. Okay, so that doesn't mean if I really, really convince myself there's no time, I can travel to Alpha Centauri in a second?
Yes. I mean, it's that. First, it's a concept I can't wrap my head around whatsoever. There is no time.
Exactly.
I can't go there. And then if there is no time, how does anything exist?
Yeah.
Anything.
What you really get into some almost Platonic philosophy there. I think, therefore I am.
Yeah.
This exists. This table exists because you and I and everyone else that walks into this room says there's a table there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what makes it real. And but I think I can't remember. I read a short story years and years and years ago about a guy who, I can't remember. I want to say it was Ray Bradbury, but I can't say for certain. But he basically came back, and his relatives were agog that he hadn't aged, and it was 10 years ago he disappeared. And what happened to you? And basically he said, well, I was just walking down the street thinking about something, and I turned the corner and I was somewhere else. And that he had literally stumbled on the possibility of just changing his existence and being somewhere and sometime else, and had managed to find his way back eventually.
I don't know if I really want to come back after what I said. I can think of new and better places to imagine and go to.
Yeah, it depends on where you wind up. I think. Yeah, the first time he did it, I can't remember. He wound up someplace that was livable, but not exactly to his taste. And he actually started trying to get back here, and he wound up, in a couple of wars and things like that. Just all the places and times he had been. But interesting concept. And if it's all in your mind,
yeah.
If it's your minds that create the reality, then you should be able to train your mind to just change it.
And then you've got the interaction of other minds and whose mind wins and blah blah blah. But
exactly.
So I'm going to throw this out here, and I don't want to go there tonight intentionally, but I'd like to come back and talk AI with you.
Oh, AI.
Okay. Not today.
That's a great mess. That's a great mess we don't know anything about. So yeah.
We will, if we start that, we will be here all fucking night.
Yes. Well, that can our state of knowledge on that right now is can be summed up by just the fact that you can't get two experts to agree on a damn thing about it.
No, you really can't.
I mean, the fundamental question of is it safe? Nope, nobody knows. Okay.
No.
So,
and were I a betting man, it'd be like, no.
Yeah.
But science fiction junkie from the age of 8. So of course I'm going to say no.
Well, of course, you and I share on our list of favorite books, ones that's all about an AI. The Moon is a Harsh Mistress. It's a computer that literally wakes up. You go,
yeah.
Oh yeah. So.
And then go way back to Colossus, the Foreman Project.
Oh yeah, the Foreman Project.
Oh my God, yeah, that was quite terrifying to a young me.
Oh yes, yeah. No, I mean, there's a lot of terrifying possibilities in it, and I think I'm kind of on the side of it. I think we will screw up royally with AI before we figure it out.
Yes.
But other people, they even I have no voice, but it certainly occurred to me, and other people have said is, what we need to do as we're experimenting with early AI is thoroughly do our best to implement Isaac Asimov's three laws of robotics.
Yeah, everyone's looking for what should the rules be. I'm like, they're right fucking there.
Yeah. Because did you hear there was a news story about a British Air Force, I think, simulation that killed the operator because the operator told the simulation, no, don't bomb that target, and the simulation said, so we have to bomb that target, and so it turned around and bombed the operator so it can bomb the target.
Give me just a second.
And that, that's just beyond scary to think about that. And in fact, one of the first, when drone airplanes were first started to be used by military capabilities, there was an expert that said, hey, I can imagine right now a small lightweight drone that's basically just a flying bomb, and you program it to seek out this person, and it flies around until it does a facial recognition match on that person, and then it just zeroes in and blows up in his face. Do you really want that technology running around?
I really don't.
Exactly.
Well, war is one of the major drivers of technology and always has been.
always. Yeah, yeah. I mean, going back to, the super primitive technology of as shown in Space Odyssey,
Uh-huh.
2001: Space Odyssey, picking up the bone of the animal that you finished cleaning the meat off of, and using that as a club. Yeah.
It,
Oh,
it,
look at that! Look what happens when I whack somebody over the head with this.
oh, now let's go whack the heads of our enemies.
Yeah, yeah. Now what happens if I tie a big rock to the end of a stick and use that instead? Well, that's even
Oh,
better.
yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, yes, unfortunately, our worst instincts drive a lot of technology.
It's pretty damn sad. Well, sir.
Yours is very much cooler putting it down behind the rock.
Yeah, I got to work some of the bugs out of this background remover. It's not entirely efficient, but Merlin is supposed to be in a cave, man, because he's still there waiting to come back and save our asses.
That's right. Yep. Yep. Unless you watch Stargate, he already has, but that's not.
Okay, yeah.
It was clever in that show how they worked a lot of that. Well, of course, it started out with the Egyptian mythology,
Mm-hmm.
but they worked a lot of mythology.
Oh yeah, and I'm pretty good in mythology, and I never found a glaring error.
No, they researched it very, very well. Yeah, yeah, and actually the Indiana Jones films did so also. I mean, they took it to some extremes. Like, I don't actually recall any depictions outside of Indiana Jones of the Ark of the Covenant, you know, behaving the way that one did. But nonetheless.
Well, and their portrayal of the Grail.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that's what it would be. It'd
Yes.
be this cheap ass little wooden cup.
Yeah. Or maybe old ceramic. But,
well, yeah, but I'm just saying it's not this.
It's not a
glorified, encrusted.
Yeah, golden.
Yeah. I mean, unless somebody got the original and like plated it in gold, okay, maybe that. But you're gonna have to say that to me before I'm buying it.
Yeah, yeah. But yes, it would have been something that a commoner in ancient Israel would have had.
Yeah, it would have been. Yeah, exactly that.
Magnificent. Yeah. So.
I am gonna go plug into my machine.
All righty. I understand you need to plug.
Well, everybody needs a plug once in a while, but you know what? No, I'm going to stop right there. That's it. I'm done. All right, my friend.
Okay, fine.
Let's do this again sometime soon.
Absolutely.
Okay, folks. Drop me some notes. Tell me how the audio and video were, and we're out of here. And I will talk to everybody later.
Bye-bye.